You're watching Better.tv. Home, family, life.
Well, Valentine's Day is just 1 week away, but some people would argue that Valentine's Day shouldn't just be one day. It should last all year long. But how do you really make that happen? Well, you've seen this guy here before. Tim Smith is a family coach. He's back here on Better. He's actually coached NFL players and their wives on this very subject, right, Tim?
Right, trying to keep that romance alive throughout the year.
If it works for an athlete, it works for everybody, right? And
That's
their
right.
wife. That's the test of it. Okay, so some women would actually like to get a hug instead of flowers, believe it or not. Some women would rather talk to their husband instead of him doing something, nice for the cars.
Right.
They really want that interaction. How do you make that work with men? It's very different languages.
Oh, it's so easy to miss each other.
Yeah.
Like a lot of guys attempt to show love to their wives or their girlfriend, and they just miss it. And they're like, oh, why bother trying? I did this, I did this, I did this. Well, what in the world does she want?
Yeah.
So I work with a lot of men. I try to give them cues into their wife's love language.
And so what are those?
Well, there are 5, really.
Okay.
And it's based on Gary Chapman's book, The 5 Love Languages, and it's really good stuff. I just love it. Like the first one is words of affirmation.
Okay.
I remember one couple came in, they were about ready to strangle each other because things are going, really bad.
Right.
And he just thought that it would always just stay like the romance they had before they were, married. And then they started to live with each other. And
Reality
so he'd come
set
home
in.
from work and he'd criticize her, and she was just devastated.
Oh.
I said, hey, you got to understand that words of affirmation is so important to your wife. So when you come in,
the source is something that a guy
this
can
is what
use.
guys can use, and
Okay.
even women sometimes. You're stuck like, well, what can I do to affirm my wife?
Okay.
What can I do to affirm my husband? If you're stuck on using the same, rote words over and over again, it gets kind of routine. Dig into the thesaurus
And you can get
come
the
up
true
with
meaning
new
of the
words
word,
of
right?
affirmation.
Okay.
Because if you have that love language and your husband or your wife says words that sound meaningful but maybe a little fresher, you go, ooh, I feel love
You like that.
because
Something
he
different.
affirmed me.
What else can you do? Time is always an issue for people because you've got to schedule everything nowadays.
Exactly.
How do you plan time to really have a Valentine's Day?
Well, I put it in my BlackBerry. I
Okay.
put it in here, my wife's birthday,
You schedule it.
our anniversary. I put
Okay.
Valentine's Day in here, and I also put it like 10 days before, to remind myself, kind of an idiot's guide to romance.
But if it works, then that's what you got to do,
yeah,
right?
we have to have the technology to remind ourselves.
Now, please tell me that this is not to give to your wife
No,
to tell her
it's
to clean,
quite
huh?
just the opposite. If the guys will do a little something around the house, some women have this acts of service as their love language. So if the husband just picks up the little duster,
Just
does
try,
a little thing,
just try,
a vacuum
right?
won't hurt you guys.
Okay.
And so sometimes if we can just show little acts of service and helping around the house,
And
it's huge.
Last but not least, 2 other things that you've got. You got massage oil here, Tim.
Oh, yeah. A lot of men, they think their love language is touch, and that leads to sex, and it's all about that. Well, maybe not, but you got to hold each other's hands.
Just a little something.
Sit next to each other, kiss each other. You pretty much have to kiss each other goodbye and say, I love you. And when you come home, greet each other with a hug or something like that.
Right.
And then finally...
I like this book here, 7,000 Years of Jewelry.
I know. My wife's love language is the last one, which is receiving gifts. She likes to get gifts, so her love language is gifts and her dialect is jewelry.
Every woman loves jewelry, right?
So, but she also likes museums and things. So I went yesterday to the Met and I bought her 7,000 years of jewelry. It's not exactly jewelry, but it's the history of jewelry. She'll like it because she teaches ancient civilizations, and she'll be able to sit in school as a teacher and look through jewelry.
Right, exactly.
So
Now,
jewelry is
the bottom line
always
is,
good.
You really just got to do the small things. The little things are what matters. We appreciate it. Thank you so much, Tim.
Thanks for watching Better.tv. Always on with home, family, life. Email us at ideas@better.tv. Together, we make it better.